So, this has been resting for 15 minutes, and you can see how it started to draw moisture up from inside the pork shoulder. You can see just how it's a little bit tacky. This has been sitting in the fridge doing that. I always like to put my meat in cold. I know everybody else thinks bring meat up to temperature before you cook it, but in low and slow, cold meat absorbs more smoke. So this needs to come straight out of the fridge and into your smoker. So what we're going to do now is just pop it in. Another big choice, are we going to go fat cap down or fat cap up? Fat cap up. My preference is to put the fat cap down. And the reason why I think this, and lots of other people have different thoughts, is this just so much more exposed meat to the smoke. Instead, if we put the fat cap up, there's this big layer of fat that sits over top of your meat, which obviously will be a barrier between the smoke that's being produced by your fire and the flesh itself. So that's why I put fat cap down. People have different things. There's no right or wrong rule. This is just what I do. If you like what I do, just copy me. If you don't, do your own thing. So all good. So we cook all our meat between 225 and 275. And the reason why we do this is because your fire fluctuates. At points it's colder, points it's hotter. But as long as you're in that ballpark, you're fine. Anything lower than that's great for smoking. 150 to 200, you're producing a fair amount of smoke. Anything above that, 300, and it's getting a bit hot. So 225, 275, magic. So my pork butts, they stay in the cooker for 8 to 12 hours. This is the time it takes for all that collagen, all that intermuscular fibre to break down and become really juicy and moist and delectable. So it's 8 to 12 hour cooks. At some point it's going to hit the stall. That's at 165 Fahrenheit to 175 Fahrenheit. And at that point, we're going to wrap these butts, or this butt. So what we've got here, we've got a fire going on. This is a really important thing when cooking low and slow. I'm using the same timber for both fuel and flavour, and that's our red gum. What we're doing here is we're burning down the red gum to embers, and then once it gets to the ember point, we're adding new logs. So they're providing your heat, this is providing your flavour. So smoke will be produced from the initial stages of combustion, and once it's lit and it's burnt down, that's your fuel. Right, let's have a look at this pork butt. Pull her out. So what we're looking for, let me pull it out a bit further. What we're looking for is for this bark to be setting. So this is your sugar-based spice rub. It's started to go a deep mahogany. That's what we're looking for. We're also looking for the point where we're going to wrap it. Essentially, we're going to wrap it when the internal temperature of this pork butt reaches anywhere between 165 degrees Fahrenheit and 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Generally, that's when the stall exists. Essentially, what that means is moisture's being drawn out of the pork butt, and as hot air travels over it, it's cooling it down. Essentially, like as a human sweats, it's the same principle. It's evaporative cooling. So how to get over that is that we wrap it, and we can wrap it in pink butcher's paper, we can wrap it in tin foil, but we need to wrap it to push it past that stall and to get it to that 205 temperature that we're after. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to wrap this pork butt. I like aluminium foil because it's readily available, you get it from anywhere. Pink butcher's paper is a bit hard to find, so this has always been my go-to. So that's why I use it. So I pop my pork butt down. I don't add anything else. Other people add things like more sugar, or they might put a little bit of apple juice in there. I might put butter in there. I don't do any of that. I just go for a straight wrap. And all I do is wrap the foil over, flip it over again, break off the foil, wrap it down and around. And there we go, one wrapped butt. We'll pop it back in the smoker and we'll see it back at 205.